think our first item on our agenda, just double check, see if we've got a full house. Yeah, Mona, Stefan. Who else do we have? Oh, Rachel, there you are. Good. All right, we had a full house. We can continue. Let's start with getting camera. First on our agenda, we have, I just closed that one up. Bear with me. Agenda. Great. Approval of the minutes from March 19th. Did you get a chance to go through them, and anybody have any comments?
I just have a couple of corrections. Under planning board request for 130 West Street, the first line, it says the planning board is requesting comments for a site plan for the above reference. Shouldn't we say like site plan approval for the above reference address?
I guess we could. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
So just requesting comments for the above referenced site plan.
Plan approval, right? Wasn't that a plan approval?
Oh. Like you mean in the title of it or in the body of it?
No, it's in the body of it. Like the planning board is requesting comments for a site plan approval. That's what it says, right? I mean, these were what I had in my old notes from last meeting.
So just adding the word in approval?
Yeah. And also, like the third line, it says development with residential on the upper floors. Like, shouldn't we say residential units on the upper floors?
Yeah, we can definitely add that in.
All right, thank you, Mona. Any other comments?
So, yes, I have another one under 2024 Springtown meeting. The fourth line, right? It says zoning bylaw section would apply to all developments involving the creation of 6 or more lots. Now, the other notes, it says 6 or more dwelling units or more lots. Like, should we say both, or it's just lots? Or it's the same thing?
6 or more lots for residential use? Is that which one you were looking at? There's a couple of spring town meeting. This is the
planning board request for comment.
The first of the two.
It's the IZB article. It's the first page.
Gotcha.
It's the fourth line.
So we can add lots and dwelling units. I think that was the language that was in the original.
Right. Because dwelling units is not exactly as the same thing as lots, right? The lot is just a lot with no buildings on it, right?
Exactly. So we'll say read involving the creation of 6 or more lots or dwelling units for residential use.
Right.
Okay, perfect.
And I guess that's all I had.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mona. Any other comments? All right, they will entertain a motion regarding the acceptance of the minutes as amended.
Okay, so I'll make a motion in regards to the minutes from the March 19, 2024 meeting. The Board of Health approves the minutes as amended.
Motion made. Do we hear a second?
I can second.
Thank you. Any other comments? Then we will vote on the motion to accept the minutes. Start with Rachel.
Aye.
Mona.
Aye.
Stefan.
Aye.
And I also. So 4-0-0. And next on our agenda is, looks like we have an animal permit application. This is for 17 Woodard Road, 7:35 appointment. Is there anybody on the call regarding the applicant for 17 Woodard Road?
I am on the call. I'm Michelle Coleman. I'm the applicant for 17 Woodard.
Great. If I could impose on you, Ms. Coleman, is just give us a little bit of background of what you're applying for, the number of animals, and some of your approach as far as design and manure management.
Yeah, sure thing. We're actually currently building a new house on that property, so this is something that we're hoping to be able to do for the summertime when we move in. We're hoping to keep 6 hens. In the permit, I attached a layout of keeping the coop kind of like in the middle of our yard, sort of, away from the house, but away from the property lines as well. And for the manure management, I found all the guidelines online, and I plan to, dispose of any of the chicken droppings at like Southbridge Farm, places that will take the manure for compost or, recycling appropriately.
Great, thank you. Any experience have you had chickens in the past or poultry? in the past?
No, we haven't. So we're hoping to be able to raise them for egg production, 6 hens. So figured we'd give it a shot.
Great, thank you. Has the Melissa, or Megan, have the animal inspector been out?
Yes, I
Yes.
did with Brianna last week.
Okay. And is the coop designed or built or anything, or is it
No,
just
it's not.
proposed?
It's
Gotcha.
just proposed, yeah.
Great.
And it would be like, a coop for them to like nest in, and then, a run for them to be able to go outside.
Gotcha. Any
And I made it
comments?
like in a 10 by 10 spot on our yard.
Great. Any comments back from the animal control? Megan and Melissa?
Nope, they said everything looked good, and we received everything in the application, the abutter notification, and all the required documentation.
Great. All right. I see there's others on the call. Are there others that are on for this application?
Yes.
All right. If I could impose on you just to state your name and your address and your comments.
Brian Welter, 11 North Street Circle. We are butting their property on the other side. We're just concerned about pest control, because I know that chickens do attract, coyotes, rats, other things to that nature. We have enough animals in our yards, and the house is huge. They really don't have that much property behind the house to actually put it in the middle of the yard. I don't know how they could do that, but we're just concerned about the pest control and what they're going to do regarding that. Coyotes, fisher cats. We now have an owl in the neighborhood. And we signed a petition on the street, all the neighbors that they had sent an email to. We sent it to the Board of Health, and we wondered if there's going to be any action on that.
Great. I appreciate your comments. Is there anybody else that's on regarding this applicant? I see you guys trying to unmute. Are you also making comments?
Sorry, we're having technical difficulties. Zach and Giangialetti at 13 North Street Circle. We directly abut the backyard of 17 Woodard, and we echo the same, sentiments as the Welters. The concern of more wildlife that will be attracted, predatory animals. We have, maybe a dozen children on our street under 10, 12 years old. So, that's a concern. We again, we've all signed the letter that, you know, it's deeply concerning to everyone who is a direct abutter.
Great, thank you very much. Is there any other individuals on the call? who wish
I
to make
live at
comment?
19 North. I live at 19 North Street Circle. Can you hear me?
Oh, we can. Yeah, please, if you wouldn't mind, your
Okay.
name.
I live at 19 North. Sarah and Leo Pratt. I live at 19 North Street Circle, a couple doors down from Tina and Zach Giletti. And we're also concerned with the predatory animals and having that really right backing up to our houses and things like that.
Gotcha. Thank you all very
We don't
much.
think it's the best area for that. They don't have a really huge backyard. We have a big backyard, but we would never have that in our backyard. So I just think it's like too close to all the neighbors. And like Tina said earlier, we have a lot of children in the neighborhood, and it's just not fair to anyone that's around that area.
All right, I appreciate the comments. Anybody else have any other comments or anyone to add to the record? All right. Well, I see the attachment. There were the notifications, the abutters, as well as the letter from individuals that are on that area. So the applicant has met the basic criteria, has gone through the inspection. So I'll actually leave it to the board. If there's anybody on the board who would like to make a motion regarding this applicant, we definitely would entertain it at this point.
I mean, I would make a motion, but I'm very much concerned about the abutters, petitioning against it, and it's like many of them. So I mean, we do respect, the abutters like concern, and I have concerns as well. Like if it wasn't like I usually, whenever we come across permits like this, my first question is, were the abutters notified? Any objections? And this time, like, we're hit with so many abutters, protesting against this permit. So I would have a concern. I mean,
Okay. Anybody on the board wish to make a motion? If there's nobody who has any effort to go forth on a motion, I will make a motion regarding the applicant at 17 Woodard Road. Says they've met the basic criteria. They've inspection has been a positive. We do take into account the abutters' comments, but I would suggest that the applicant be granted the permit. And if there are any comments or concerns or questions from any of the abutters during the housing of the animals, they absolutely have every right to notify the Board of Health as a complaint. I will be willing to bet you there'll be no, as a chicken owner myself, the nature has been out there. They have been, the wildlife is out there, and this hasn't impacted us in any way, but that would be the motion that I would propose. And again, any butters, I understand, and we want to take those comments into consideration, but I would definitely encourage, where there are those concerns, if during the housing of the animals there are objectionable odors or nuisances, we would ask to go through the Board of Health.
Can I ask a question, Richard? This is Kathy Welter. I'm
Sure.
just wondering, on your chickens, do you have a huge lot of land that you have the chickens on? Because this backyard is very small. And so if you have a significant amount of land, then you have more area.
Nope, I have a small backyard, and we did similar, made a coop and a run, and we actually abut wild, like kind of a wild area, and we've seen no increase. I've had chickens for the last about 4 years, and there are predatory animals, hawks, everything that have always been around, but
But you
doesn't
abut a
attract-
wild area, you don't abut other homes,
Oh yeah, we do. We have homes all around us.
and nobody has ever complained.
No.
Okay.
If you've ever had a fresh egg, there's nothing better, and our neighbors are very excited to get those deliveries.
And I'm not opposed to the fresh eggs, I just feel like what it brings with it is just gonna be a lot for the neighborhood. And like Tina said, it's very concerning because we have a lot of little kids playing on the street. And I'd hate to think that we're gonna have to keep them inside because there's additional wild animals running around.
You know, you gotta remember the wild animals just as scared of kids. So, but yeah, I totally understand, and those are definitely concerns that I would agree people would have.
Okay.
So the motion
I sense a little bit of a bias here, but we can kind of work that.
So we actually, again, we're sensing a bit of a bias, but just out of curiosity, exactly what has been inspected, because there's no backyard. The house isn't completely built. There's no chicken coop to inspect. So what exactly has been inspected out of curiosity?
The inspection is done by the animal inspector, and what they do is they review the manure management plan, the setbacks that are on the plan based off of where the coop's going to be, and those are the requirements. So as long as they've met the requirements, like our chair, Richard Borgard, had mentioned, we would never not issue a permit. That being said, if there's any negligence or issues with the animal permit after it's been issued, then you would vocalize it to the Board of Health for further review. Sorry, you're on mute.
On that note, what is the purpose of needing to notify all the abutters if what we say really isn't taken into account?
Under our local regulations, it is required to notify a butter, so you are aware of it, and you are able to vocalize your opposition to it should you wish.
All right, motion has been made. Do we hear a second?
I'll second.
All right, motion has been made and seconded. Any other further comments? I know there's some discussions around the applicant. Anything else further at this time?
If you didn't have chickens yourself, Richard, would you okay this? You seem like you're biased on this.
I've been on the board for
fresh eggs.
Sure, I've been on the Board of Health for almost 20 years now, and it's only been the last handful of years, and I've approved and supported many a permit in our time. So,
no, is this an elected position you guys? Are you appointed?
It's appointed.
Okay.
It just feels like the letters went out for what? To tell us that there was a chicken coop being put in, we can voice our opposition, but it really doesn't mean anything.
Well, it's a part of the permitting process, so it's a part of the regulation that all know.
No, I totally understand that, but us voicing our opposition doesn't really mean anything. It's still, you guys just approved it. The whole neighborhood signed that letter. There isn't a single person that abuts that property that wants it.
Unfortunately, they're not doing anything wrong and out of line with the permit. They've followed all of the requirements of the application, so there's nothing that they're doing that's negligent. The animal
But there's not even a chicken coop there that you guys can look at and assess to make sure that it's correct.
there absolutely will be another inspection, and there's an annual inspection that occurs. And once the applicant has been granted it, there are steps they have to go through, and the animal inspector will be visiting. We obviously, as soon as it's built and established and housed, we would ask that Ms. Coleman would let us know, and we could at that point be able to have an additional inspection as soon as it's designed. I mean, the idea is that we ask for the design, the plan. If something doesn't meet the basic criteria, then at that point we can go back to the applicant. But it seems the idea is there, so I would recommend that. I would not recommend. I would request, Ms. Coleman, that when the coop is built and prior to obtaining the poultry, we would definitely like to have you meet with the inspector again and go through the plan, make sure everything is as designed.
Sure,
That-
indeed. I can do that.
And like
Thank you.
Mr. Woodard said, it's an annual permit. So each year it's to be renewed, and each year the property is inspected by our animal inspector.
Okay.
All right, thank you all very much. I know the motion's been made and seconded, so we'll take a vote. We will start with Stefan.
Richard's a dictator.
Aye. And Mona?
Richard, I'm just gonna abstain.
Perfect, that's fine. Rachel?
Aye.
And I also. So the motion has passed 3, 1 abstained, and 0 opposed. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate the discussion, and Ms. Coleman, wish you the best of luck. And the neighbors, I hope this all works out for everybody in the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, 7:40, we're a little bit late. The next one on the agenda is the lifeguard variance for Swan Pond.
Yep, so let me pull that up. Perfect. So this is a variance request we've seen in the past. So this is the condos over at Swan Pond. So they have 2 pools. They have an upper pool and a lower pool. The lower pool is always staffed with a lifeguard, and then their upper pool, which is for adults only, they are requesting the variance to not have a lifeguard there. So as reference, this is the variance that was granted last year. And I did reach out to Heidi, who's the property manager, to just confirm they do have an AED on site. It's in a weatherproof container, as well as they would have a lifeguard on site that would be, CPR, first aid, and AED trained at the lower pool.
Any incidents from the last season, Megan?
No incidents reported.
So it's very well under control, right?
Yes.
All right, anybody want to make a motion regarding the request for variance?
I can make a motion in regards to the variance request for a lifeguard from 178 Clear Pond Drive in Walpole. The Board of Health grants the variance. Or approves. And should I reiterate everything? I like everything that we listed on last year's approval to go on this year's as well. Do you need me to go over that, Melissa?
I think you can just reiterate from last year.
Okay.
And there's no changing in the wording or anything. I know we had that last year. We changed a few to make sure they're all consistent, but looks like this is all what we've been using.
Yeah.
Good. All right, motion been made. Do we hear a second? I thought, Stefan, did you?
I will officially second. I'm going to jump the gun on that one, but yes.
Perfect. So motion been made and seconded. Any other comments? Then we will vote. Mona?
Aye.
Stefan? Oh, I'm sorry. He made it.
Aye.
Oh, I'm a little distracted. Sorry about that. And then Rachel?
Aye.
And then I also. So 4-0-0. All right. Let's continue on. Next one is lifeguard variance for Fairfield Inn.
So this is another variance that we've had in the past for the hotel, the Fairfield Hotel. So they have an indoor pool. They do not have a lifeguard on staff, and they have key cards at the desk. So anyone wanting to get into the pool room, it's locked. They need a special key card. They get that at the front desk, which is staffed, and that's how they monitor the bathing count, as well as making sure there aren't young children going into the pool alone. And then as a reminder, this is what the variance was last year, and they do have an AED on site.
And again, any incidents from last season, Megan, that we know?
No incidents.
Okay.
All right. Anybody want to make a motion regarding the variance for Fairfield Inn?
I can make this one too. The Board of Health, would like to grant the Fairfield Inn a variance from our regulation requirement in lifeguard subject to the following conditions, and I would reiterate all the conditions again that were listed on last year's approval.
Very good. Motion's been made. Do we hear a second?
I'll second.
There we go. All right. Motion's been made and seconded, and we will vote on Mona,
Aye.
Stefan,
Aye.
Rachel,
Aye.
and I also. So variance granted with the conditions 400. And next is planning board request for comment for Alsarabi Estates.
So this is a revised definitive subdivision. So a reminder with the subdivision, it does need to have the language whether or not the board approves. So it's currently developed as a single family dwelling. They will be extending the driveway and converting it into a private road for 3 additional dwellings, along with driveways, utilities, stormwater, landscaping. So the revisions include reconfiguring the cul-de-sac and the lot slightly. It would be utilizing town water as well as have on-site waste disposal systems. Soil testing was done with Melissa in 2018. And the proposed lots are within the 100-foot buffer zone. So the board last saw this plan at the May 18th, 2021 meeting, where they reiterated their previous comments that they're opposed to construction in the wetland and urge future homeowners to adopt standard best mosquito mitigation and work with Norfolk County Mosquito Control, as well as noting that the applicant must address trash and recycling pickup since it is a private street. And then also noting that the applicant would be required to submit individual septic plans for each lot to the health department for review. So here's the plan here. So you can see the extension from Starlight. So this is going to be the cul-de-sac. One lot right here. All the dwellings are highlighted in yellow. Dwellings. And then the wetlands are highlighted in green, the 25-foot zone in pink, and then the 100-foot buffer zone in blue.
So this was originally a single family home, right? And then now they're adding 3 more houses to the lot. Is that enough, like, I don't know, like space?
So they are extending out. So they're creating a road. So it was a big lot that they're now subdividing into 4 lots.
So is the lot is big enough to have 3 additional units?
So they would have to meet like building code setbacks, things like that. For us, they would have to meet all septic setbacks from any of the wetlands, as well as from, any abutting properties and from the house itself. They would have to meet all those setbacks.
I can't quite tell. Are they building the road in the wetland or like corners of it?
So this is the Starlight Drive that's existing. And then this where my cursor is going right here, that's going to be the new cul-de-sac that they're creating. So you can see it crosses through these zones.
Right there.
So the cul is outside the wetland, right? Or inside?
So it's kind of, so you can see the edges here in green. So it kind of snakes through it a little bit here. And then that's the 25-foot. And then, so it's definitely within that 100-foot zone.
So the houses will be inside the buffer zone? Because I see
Portions of them.
the end of the cul-de-sac is not, right? Okay.
So so this dwelling highlighted in yellow and portion of this dwelling highlighted in yellow, it looks like it will be in that 100-foot buffer zone. But the green, the wetlands, the houses are not in the wetlands.
Okay. anyone has any comments? I don't hear anyone.
You know what? I was on mute, so I was just going to ask the same question.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, any comments from anybody? I know the additional information.
No.
No? Anybody want to make a motion regarding the revised request for planning board request for comments?
I can make a motion in regards to the revised definitive subdivision of Alsarabi Estates. The Board of Health would like to reiterate the comments from the from the May 18th and the January 19th, 2021. Also, we would recommend that the applicant, actually, we required that the applicant should address trash and recycling pickup. Also, the applicant will be required to submit individual septic plans for each lot to the health department for review.
Okay, motion has been made. Any other comments? Do we hear a second? Sorry.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Motion made and seconded. We will vote on Simona,
Aye.
Stefan.
Aye.
Rachel.
Aye.
I also. 4-0-0. So that is the last on our agenda. A couple other business items. Nomination of animal inspector.
Yes, so we have both our current animal inspectors, Henry and Brianna, have agreed to stay on. So it's just more the formality of sending it to Mass Department of Agriculture. So I did send that in on Friday. It was received. They will send the official letter back to our office just so we have it for filing purposes. But there's no further action needed by the board on that.
Very good. And household hazardous waste day.
So it's coming up. We're already in April, so we're about a month away. I did put the sign up list out. We've had a good amount of people sign up, always looking for more volunteers. If you would like to volunteer or know anyone that would like to volunteer, we could appreciate the help. And it's on Saturday, May 4th at the Fisher School from 9 to noon. And we do have it posted. We did reach out to Hometown Weekly. We reached out to Walpole Cable. It's on our social media pages as well as the town website. And we also have flyers outside of our office just highlighting the event information as well as the items that will be accepted at the event.
Very good. Awesome. And third on other business is reorganization of the board.
So not necessary, but we do this every time. So the renewals for board members, associate members are every year, voting board members are every 3 years. So normally around this time, the first meeting in April, we always put this as a standing agenda item. If the board wants to reorganize, I know right now, Richard, you're the chair and Rachel, you are the clerk. So those would be the two positions that would be, you could change them amongst the voting board members if you choose to do so, or you can leave it as is.
In the
Doing an awesome job as a chairman, so I'll vote for Richard to stay as chairman.
I agree.
In the immortal words of Bill, anybody wants a job, they can have it.
Now you know where he was standing, Richard.
I appreciate it, guys. No, I also was curious about the associate members. Is there opening? Do we have other members?
Thank you for bringing that up. So we have one associate member seat because Danielle did leave. Jeffrey did stay on. So we have one open because we have two. Actually, I think we have three, to be honest with you. I think we voted to get three. So there's actually 2 vacancies for associate board members. So if there's anyone, they are posted. Aoife and the select board always post them on our website. But if you know anyone that is interested, it's nice to have the associate position because then the individual can, get a feel for what the board meetings are like so that when the time comes, if they're able to, get in a voting seat, they're a little bit more seasoned.
Great. Yeah, there's someone that I used to work with that I had mentioned before, and he's now changed jobs, and I'm going to push him again.
Perfect. That's all. If he has any questions, Rich, or anything wants any more information, definitely feel free to share my information with him.
Appreciate it. All right, and last summer camp application deadline.
Yeah, so this is something different. As I did write in the email, so the state regulations do state that you have to, camp application must be submitted to the Board of Health 90 days prior to the camp start date. As you know, like, we're always willing to work with applicants. Prior to Megan being in that position, Rico was in the position, and I was in the position prior to that. So I've done camp application reviews. They are very intense. Trish does all of the medical checking, vaccine requirements, everything like that. So there's kind of like, at this point, we feel like there should be a hard cutoff 2 weeks prior. Because, I mean, I know, like, all health department staff have gone above and beyond, and, you know, the week before camp, trying to get out there, checking first aid kits. In reality, a camp that is waiting that long to submit, I don't think is a camp that should be running, that is running safely. And these camps have, I mean, a good amount of children that are probably under the age of 10, most of them. So we want to make sure that's done in a manner that's safe. We obviously understand that actual camp applications, so maybe vaccine records, campers, things like that, might be done on the later end of the 90 days. However, the actual base of the camp, you know, evacuation plan, traffic control plans, those are items that if it's the same camp every year, they should have that binder to us with that information. So it's more or less just bringing it to the board's attention. And if we came to a point where we had to really say, we are not accepting it, you know, we would have kind of the backing of the board behind us.
Good.
How many applications do we usually get?
So I wrote in the email, I mean, Megan and Trisha are more into it now, but I would say on average, since I've been here, about 8 to 10 or so camps, and a lot of them are reoccurring camps. And I will tell you, I would say 90% of the camps are spot on. I mean, some we've already received, and there's just, you know, that, you know, small amount that waits until the last minute, and it seems to be the same thing every year. So our thought process is we can give this information to the camp applicants now, saying, you know, your camp's not going to start for over 90 days. We're letting you know ahead of time that if you submit prior to, or 2 weeks or less from your camp start date, we will not be entertaining your camp application.
Now, would all the camps be in like a designated area in Walpole, or they're like spread out?
No, so they're spread out, but so we used to have like a horse camp that was at the horse stable on North Street. We have some camps at the schools that do things there. We have some at the baseball field on West Street. So not every camp is in the same location, but for the most part, every camp that's reoccurring is in the same location they were in last year. So aside from maybe a few tweaks to the plan, a lot of the plan should be the same. Updating maybe, you know, individuals and employees and campers obviously is something that would require more up-to-date information.
I see. Thank you.
All right. Anything else for the board to discuss?
No, I think that's all.
Oh, all right. Then I will make a motion that we adjourn.
I'm sorry, the next meeting will be on April 16th?
Correct, yes.
Yes.
All right.
Does that work for everybody?
Yep.
Mona, Stefan. Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah, and we'll do Zoom again. Maybe by then I'll get the new Zoom loaded and get my camera fired up. But all right. Anything else?
No, that's all.
Perfect. I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do we hear a second?
I'll second that.
And we'll vote. Rachel.
Aye.
Stefan.
Aye.
Mona.
Aye.
I also. So we'll call it at 8:09. Close the Board of Health meeting.
Perfect.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of the week.
Hey, Melissa, do you have a second? Do you mind if I call you?